Hello, everyone. Welcome to week 2 of Beyond the Green Golf Podcast. I'm your host, Brian Mahoney. Just want to start off by saying thank you very much to everyone who tuned in last week to my very first ever podcast slash YouTube video previewing the Genesis Invitational. It was a great experience. Pretty nerve-wracking getting started, but I'm glad I just went ahead and got started with it. So just want to say thank you for everyone who liked my video, watched it, provided feedback, subscribed to my channel. All that info is very much greatly appreciated. So thank you very much, and I also appreciate you guys tuning in to week 2. So let's start off by just doing a quick review of the Genesis Invitational. So Joaquin Niemann, we got to give a big congrats to Joaquin Niemann. Played some incredible golf, got his second PGA Tour victory, winning Genesis Invitational. Let's see, the last time Joaquin Niemann won was in 2019 at the Greenbrier. So it had been a few years since Joaquin was waiting for that second win, but what a great win to get it at the Genesis Invitational. Such a huge tournament, and it's just a great place to obviously get your second win, get your guaranteed tour card for 3 years, along with all the other stuff that comes with winning the Genesis Invitational, getting into the Masters, getting into some other majors. So great tournament. I had mentioned last week that I thought the final score, just due to the history of the tournament, was going to be somewhere in the range of -10 to 16 under par. Well, Niemann just started off so hot that after 2 rounds, Niemann fired back-to-back 63s, I believe. So he finished 8 under the first day, 8 under the second day, for a total of -16 after 2 rounds. So what I thought could possibly be the winning score after the whole tournament, Niemann was already there after 2 rounds. So that just shows how well Niemann was playing. Let's see. So his 16 under after 2 rounds, that did set the 36-hole scoring record at Riviera Country Club, beating it by 4 strokes. That's pretty crazy. That beat the record, not only just beating it by 1 or 2, but beating it by 4 strokes. That's just how solid Niemann was playing last week. Let's see. The other thing Niemann did was he won wire to wire, and it's just very hard to, when you put up a round of a 63, back-to-back 63s, it's just really hard to keep that going. So with the strength of the field that we had last week, for Niemann to kind of stay on top and kind of hold off all the big names that were trying to catch him, just very, very impressive. You don't have very many wire-to-wire winners. There was actually a stat that I saw by PGA Tour Communications on Twitter. It's pretty much the breaking news for everything related to the PGA Tour. If you're not following them, definitely make sure you give them a follow. But a stat that I saw was this was only the 4th time in the Genesis Invitational history where a player won wire-to-wire. The last person to do this was Charlie Sifford in 1969. So all that info just combined just shows how well Niemann played last week. Just an incredible week for Niemann. Want to mention Morikawa finished tied for 2nd with Cameron Young. Morikawa is just a freaking stud. He's just so good, so consistent. I mentioned last week, I knew he made that comment that he'll eventually win the Genesis Invitational sooner than later. So it's just in my belief that if you were to take an approach on Morikawa, just bet on him. If you were to bet on Morikawa for the next 3 Genesis Invitationals, he's most likely going to win one of them. So I just think it'll be pretty profitable in the long run for you if you were to bet on just Morikawa to win the Genesis Invitational the next 3 years. I think that'll definitely pay off for you. The other golfer I wanted to mention was Cameron Young last week. Finished tied 2 with Morikawa. Obviously, he was the young golfer in contention this week. Yeah, I had to do the young playoff there. Uh, but so he kind of reminded me of Tigala from the week prior at the Waste Management Phoenix Open. Young guy, was in contention. Normally with the young guys that don't have very many starts on tour or just not really that well known, you think maybe they have one or two good rounds, but you most likely just expect them to fall off and not even be a part of the coverage once the weekend gets here. But that was not the case for Cameron Young. He stayed in contention all week, even was fighting, got a great birdie at the very end to make it pretty interesting, but just fell just a little short. But it just seems like if you're this early in your stage, you're already contending on big tournaments like this. He'll be a great player on the PGA Tour for years to come. I just believe he probably needs a few more tournaments under his belt, get a little bit more used to being on the PGA Tour, but then he should be pretty solid player for years to come. So just do another review of the 7 guys I talked about last week. 3 out of the 7 guys I kind of did a deep dive into finished in the top 6, so it's pretty good. We didn't get a winner, but we at least 3 out of the 7 guys finished in the top 6. So we were pretty close. We just didn't snag that winner. Morikawa, as I said previously, finished tied for 2nd. Adam Scott finished tied for 4th, and Justin Thomas finished in 6th. The surprising pick or surprising result was Cantlay. Best player in the field, was playing so hot and loved the Riviera Country Club. He just never was really in contention the whole tournament. He finished tied for 33 along with Tony Finau, another guy I talked about. Just was a little surprised to see Cantlay wasn't in contention. Let's see, the other 2 players I talked about were Dustin Johnson and Bubba Watson. Both of them missed the cut. I don't know if you guys saw, but Dustin Johnson got in quite a bit of trouble on the drivable par 4 10th hole on one of his first 2 rounds. I believe, he drove it short into the fairway bunker on the left from his approach shot, missed the green, goes into a bunker near the green, gets stuck in the very lip, and so DJ didn't have much of a shot after that, so he pretty much just had to hit it right into the bunker again, chipped it out, ends up getting like a double bogey, and just was very hard. He also had another hole where hit it over a green, it was putting up a mound, didn't get it up the mound, comes right back to him. So it's just tough when you have two kind of holes like that to in the very beginning to kind of get out of that and make the cut. So just a little surprising to see that DJ and Bubba both missed the cut with their great course histories. So before we do a deep dive into the Honda Classic, I gotta do my shout out to Rick Gaiman and his website, rickrungood.com. All the stats and models and custom models I'm creating, all of that info comes from Rick's website, rickrungood.com. So if you guys aren't subscribed already, please go there. If you love golf betting, please go there and subscribe to Rick's website. There's a lot of great info on there that will be useful to you guys. Okay, so let's start doing a deeper look into the Honda Classic this week, which the PGA Tour is we're now leaving the West Coast swing and we're going to Florida, starting the Florida swing. So let's see here. The golf course that we're playing this week is the PGA National golf course. The field strength this week is a lot weaker compared to last week's Genesis Invitational. Last week we had all top 10 players in the world were playing at the Genesis Invitational. This week we have 0 players in the top 10 playing in the Honda Classic. The top ranked player in this field is Louis Oosthuizen, and he's currently at number 13 in the world. So let's see here. So yeah, like I said, the PGA National, it's a resort. There's multiple courses, but this course is known as the Champion Course. Very tough golf course. There's danger everywhere. Danger lurks everywhere on this course, and big numbers can be made pretty easily. 15 holes, so 15 out of the 18 holes on this course have water surrounding it. Water's surrounding the holes. So that for me, that is definitely pretty scary. But I'm sure for the PGA Tour golfers as well, very scary to have that much danger off the tee and throughout the holes. So the other thing this course is known for is having the bear trap, which is the very tough 3-hole stretch. It's holes 15, 16, and 17. So hole 15 is a par 3, hole 16 is a par 4, and hole 17 is a par 3. It's a very tough 3-hole section of this golf course at the very end, so you can either make or break your round. You can have some big numbers through that 3-hole stretch. So if you were to get by the bear trap, I believe that like even par through the week, that would be a great score. So let's see. The reason it's named the bear trap is because it's from Jack Nicklaus's nickname, the Golden Bear. Jack Nicklaus helped redesign this course, so just from that, they pretty much from Jack Nicklaus's nickname kind of took part of his Golden Bear and just called this 3-hole stretch the bear trap. So another tidbit about this tournament this week is a lot of European golfers are making their PGA Tour debut this week. So a lot of golfers such as Tommy Fleetwood, Shane Lowry, Ian Poulter, and many more European players, this is their first start on the PGA Tour for the 2022 calendar year season. So let's see. One more tidbit is, since this course is in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, a huge majority of the PGA Tour golfers live in this area. So for most of the golfers that are playing this week, it's just a short little drive to the course, and then they'll be driving home and sleeping in their own beds. So, that's always nice. So there's definitely going to be a lot of players in this field that have familiarity with this golf course as well as the area. Okay, so let's take a look into the favorites, the field and the favorites this week. So the very first person on the board that I wanted to talk about is Sungjae Im. So Sungjae Im is definitely the clear favorite this week. He's the top of the leaderboard, or he's top of the odds board, shortest odds out there. What are his opening odds? Let's see. So Sungjae Im, I believe he opened up at about 12-1. Sorry, I'm going through my spreadsheet here. So yeah, pretty much consensus across the board was about 12-1 odds on Sungjae Im. So let's see. So what do we know about Sungjae? Obviously, just right off the top of my head, I know Sungjae loves Bermuda greens, and that's PGA National this week has Bermuda greens. So anytime I know a course has Bermuda greens, I automatically think if Sungjae's playing that week, you gotta look into Sungjae a little bit more. The other thing that I saw about Sungjae this week, and I thought it was pretty interesting, is he loves Florida golf, just being in the state of Florida playing golf. So here is a tweet that I found from Justin Ray Golf. And he has a great follow on Twitter for golf data and trends and info. If you're not following him, give him a follow on Twitter. But he said, so Sungjae Im, or let's see here. So he tweeted, the most strokes gained total per round in Florida, the players with the most strokes gained total per round in Florida since 2017 among players in this field, Sungjae Im is number 1 at 1.79 strokes gained. Number 2, Tommy Fleetwood at 1.63. So all the stats and everything kind of show that Sungjae Im is the clear favorite this week. But just kind of like last week, I am not going to be betting on Sungjae this week. I just feel like his odds are just too short for me. 12 to 1 on Sungjae is, I love Sungjae, but it just seems like he was always in the range of 28 to 40 for the previous weeks. I know this is a weaker field, and Sungjae loves Florida golf, but just at 12 to 1 odds this week is just a little too short for me, so we're going to have to bypass Sungjae. And that leads me to my favorite golfer. Favorite for me this week is Daniel Berger. So I know people have been a little hesitant about Daniel Berger recently because he had a hip issue or a back issue a few weeks ago and didn't look very good, and he wasn't playing so well. But I did see, and this is the other good thing about if you're on Rick Gaiman's website, you get access to his Slack channel, and it's just a golf community of everyone that kind of talks about golf. I saw on there, someone had posted a screenshot of Daniel Berger. He just pretty much stated on an Instagram comment to someone that he's fully healthy and looking to get ready for the next week. And I believe when he said that, it was like 2 weeks ago. So he's taken this, he didn't play at the Genesis. So he's had, and then he missed the cut at, which course was that? Let's see, Daniel Berger. Where did Daniel Berger? So yeah, he missed the cut at the Waste Management Phoenix Open, didn't play in the Genesis. So he's had about 2 weeks to get healthy. So I believe those 2 weeks off is just exactly what Daniel Berger needed. So I am personally not too worried about his health at the moment. I know other people out there that might scare them off and not want to make bet on Daniel Berger this week or make him your one and done. But for me, I'm pretty confident that Berger is back to being healthy. So the other thing is Daniel Berger, his Twitter account is DB Straight Vibin on Twitter. If you're not following Daniel Berger on Twitter, you should give him a follow. He's pretty funny. He's another guy that lives in the Florida area. Loves just being on his boat and hanging out in the Florida area. So I definitely expect Berger to play well this week. He's definitely one of the best players in the field. His stats all kind of support that. So let's see, if we go to the power rankings, Rick Gaiman's power rankings of all the people in this field, Daniel Berger, he is gaining 1.11 strokes total over the last 50 rounds, which is the sixth best player in this field. But if you take a look actually at his approach shots, let's see here. Over the last 50 rounds, Daniel Berger is actually leading this field in strokes gained approach at 1.03. So obviously every week, strokes gained approach is the biggest stat. It's the most consistent stat that you can trust week to week going forward. So it's great to see that Daniel Berger is topping this field in the strokes gained approach. The next guy I wanted to talk about, just with all this danger lurking on the course, it made me think of a guy who is accurate, and that led me to just think of Louis Oosthuizen. So that's just kind of before I even looked into any info this week of who hits it straight, who's pretty consistent, not wild off the tee, and that player to me was Louis Oosthuizen. He's not very lengthy off the tee, but he's accurate, and his approach shots are really pretty decent. So let's see here. Some stats I looked up just to back up Louis Oosthuizen's accuracy. So driving accuracy, I looked up the PGA Tour stats. The tour average is hitting the fairways is 59%. So Louis Oosthuizen, he's well above that at 66.5%. So that's just something I knew. I just had to back it up by looking at the stats. If you guys are wanting to know the top 2 players on that list of who are the most accurate off the tee, I have top of this list is Ryan Armour at 72.4%. Second person on that list, 72, Daniel Berger, 72.2%. So that's another just tidbit for Daniel Berger, and those are my 2 favorites. Those are my 2 players that are my favorite players this week are Daniel Berger and Louis Oosthuizen. So the next guy I want to talk about is Tommy Fleetwood. Just like Tony, not as much as Tony, but I am a big Tommy Fleetwood fan. Love Tommy. The reason being is Joe Pita was an author I like. He wrote this Masters preview book. He's really good on the strokes gained. I remember recalling him mention that the 2 players to watch out for over the next 10 seasons or so that are going to get a bunch of wins were Tony Finau and Tommy Fleetwood. So we got the 1 win for Tony, but we are still looking for Tommy's first win on the PGA Tour here. So hoping that comes this week. But yeah, Tommy, he loves this course. This is usually his first stop on the PGA Tour. That's kind of Tommy's routine year to year, is that he doesn't come over to the PGA Tour and really start getting situated on the PGA Tour tournaments until this week at the Honda Classic. So Tommy's history here. Tommy has a 3rd place finish here in 2020 and a 4th place finish here in 2018. So Tommy obviously likes this course well, and also the other reason is that they're coming over, a lot of the Europeans are coming over right now, is because this is a great week, 2 weeks to warm up before the Players Championship, which everyone's considers, or the PGA Tour wants to consider, the 5th major of the year. So let's see. So it's a good warm up for all the Europeans. Get these first 2 tournaments under their belts, and then get ready for the Players. Another person I wanted to talk about is Alex Noren. So Noren, I've been just watching him these past few weeks. He's been popping up lately. He's finished tied for 6th at the Waste Management Phoenix Open 2 weeks ago. He definitely has some good course history here. I know Noren likes this course. He finished 3rd here in 2018. And then once again, Noren is just another player who loves Bermuda greens, and that's just a player I have in the back of my mind whenever we're going to Bermuda greens. Sungjae Im and Noren are 2 guys to take a deeper look into. And the last guy I wanted just to talk about, or that I'm going to do a deeper dive into, is Shane Lowry, Irish golfer from, let's see. So the thing I just recall, obviously, about Shane before I took a deeper dive into is, so this week, this course is going to be very tough. It's going to be very tough conditions. And Shane Lowry has won a Open Championship before. Previously. So obviously, on the Open Championships, it's very, very tough conditions. You're going to need to avoid those big numbers, avoid the bogeys. And so I just love Shane Lowry's short game and his ability to save par. So let's see here. So some long shot guys I kind of wanted to talk about is, let's see, this tournament does tend to lead to a long shot winner. There's been multiple people in the past who have won, I think on 3 or 4 occasions, where the winner has been, his odds to win have been over triple digits. So Keith Mitchell, I know he won, not 100% sure if it was at 100 to 1 or 200 to 1. It was somewhere between that range, but Keith Mitchell won here, and he ended up beating out Brooks Koepka and Ricky Fowler on the very last hole. I specifically remember this because I had tickets on Ricky Fowler to win the tournament. So I was thinking Keith Mitchell had about 26-foot birdie putt on 18, and that was to avoid going to a playoff with Ricky and Brooks. And so I was thinking, all right, we got a chance here. We're going to go into the playoff. But Keith had a different idea about that, and he actually sunk his it was like a 20 plus foot birdie putt for birdie at the end to get his first victory and avoid the playoff. So that was pretty cool to see. Obviously, a great way to get your first victory. But for me, obviously, it wasn't too happy of a moment because I was hoping Ricky could get to the finish line there. Let's see. So 2 long shots I like this week are Lucas Glover and Adam Svensson, Canadian, Adam Svensson. So Glover is really good on approach shots from 175 to 200 yards, which there will be a lot of shots from that distance this week. There's 12 par 4s on this course. So that's kind of why I did that approach yardage of 175 to 200 yards, just because I feel like there's going to be quite a bit of shots this week from that distance. So let's see here. So I looked up some stats of the PGA Tour. So this is just off the PGAtour.com stats page. And I went to the approaches from 175 to 200 yards. And let's see here. So the average distance from the flag on approach shots from 175 to 200 yards is 33 feet 11 inches. So when I pull up this list, Lucas Glover is number 6 on this list, and his average is 27 feet 6 inches. So what is that about? That's 6. So that's over 6 feet that Lucas Glover is getting closer on his approach shots to the flag from 175 yards to 200 yards out than the rest of the PGA Tour. So that is significant. That is huge. So that is one stat when I saw that I just absolutely love. So we had to write down Lucas Glover, and we're going to have to make sure we're on back in Lucas Glover this week. So the other player I wanted to is Adam Svensson. So he's been popping up recently. I know he's highly regarded between people on the PGA Tour. He's not that well known right now, but he is as an up and comer, as they like to say. But Adam Svensson, he's gained strokes on approach 3 out of the last 4 tournaments that he's played. Specifically, he gained 6.13 strokes gained approach at the Sony Open in Hawaii, and he finished tied for 7 that week. So that is good to see because Sony Open is known as a great comparison course. It has a lot of stats that correlate for here at the Honda Classic and the PGA National. So that was just another thing that I like seeing is that Svensson finished T for 7th at the Sony. He's gaining on approach shots, which 3 out of the last 4 tournaments, which is obviously a big factor this week. So I just wanted to create a custom model to kind of get a better idea and see what players are going to be popping up this week by entering in the stats, the 5 or 6 stats that I feel like are the most important this week. So I created a custom model, and those stats that I decided to put in there were strokes gained approach, strokes gained off the tee, par 4 scoring, obviously because there's 12 par 4s on this course, so you're going to be playing a lot of par 4s. Approach shots from 175 to 200 yards. We just went over that a little bit with Lucas Glover. And driving accuracy. So the weights I entered into for this model is I did 40 on strokes gained approach, 20 on par 4 scoring, 20 on approach from 175 yards to 200 yards, 10 strokes gained off the tee, and 10 driving accuracy. So when I do this, and these custom models once again are on rickrungood.com, so go there and you can mess with this all you want. It's pretty fun to kind of see who's gonna pop out each week. And so I ran a model with these weights, and I did it for the last 50 rounds on over the last 50 rounds. And so the other thing is I want to, so yeah, the only thing about this is that the Europeans that are coming over this week, there just might not be popping up in a lot of these type of models, because being on the European tour, we don't have access to all their strokes gained stats, like approach shots and all that. We only have strokes gained total from them. So they might not be popping up on this, popping up a lot on these type of models. So mainly these are a lot of the players that have been playing on the PGA Tour. So I just wanted to throw that out there first. But according to this model, over the last 50 rounds, here's your top 10 from those custom model ranks. So number 1, Daniel Berger. Number 2, Louis Oosthuizen. Number 3, Sungjae Im. Number 4, Russell Knox. Number 5, Mito Pereira. Number 6, Lucas Glover. There's our boy, Lucas Glover. Number 7, Hudson Swafford. Number 8, Jonathan Vegas. Number 9, Joaquin Niemann. And number 10, Aaron Wise. So another thing I like to do is, so I ran that model for the last 50 rounds, which is a pretty good, you get quite a bit of stats in there, and it's a pretty good kind of judgment on how these guys have been playing. But if you want a more recent kind of just guys who have been playing well, just recently, short time period, I changed it to, so I ran another custom model with all the same weights, but this time I changed it to the last 24 rounds, just the last 24 rounds only. So when I popped up this model, pretty much 9 out of the 10 guys stayed on this list. So I'll just read it off. Number 1, Daniel Berger. Number 2, Louis Oosthuizen. 3, Russell Knox. 4, Glover. 5, Sungjae Im. 6, Aaron Rai. 7, Joaquin Niemann. 8, Aaron Wise. 9, Hudson Swafford. 10, Jonathan Vegas. So pretty much the only thing that changed from when I changed it from 50 to 24 rounds is that Mito Pereira was removed and Aaron Rai jumped up to number 6 on that list. So I just like to, that's just kind of confirmation to see the two players, two of the players that I really like this week are 1 and 2 on those models. So that's just, you just like extra evidence on who your gut feelings are, what are the stats saying, and if the custom models come out and also show that as well, that's just another confidence factor for your picks there. Okay, so let's just do a recap of the 7 golfers I talked about and pretty much the best sports books, or the best places, sports books to place these bets at. So when I'm going through my list, using my database of kind of going through all the odds of all the different sports books, Daniel Berger, the best place that you can find Daniel Berger at is 17 to 1 odds at Circa. So I'm just going to go through my list here. Number 2, Louis Oosthuizen. You can find him 20 to 1 at Westgate. Number 3, Tommy Fleetwood. You could find him at 31 to 1 odds at Circa. Number 4, Alex Noren. You can find Noren at 35 to 1 at DraftKings. Number 6, Shane Lowry. You can find Lowry at 38 to 1 at Circa. Number 6, Lucas Glover, 78 to 1 at Circa. And then last but not least, Adam Svensson. You can find him at 130 to 1 odds at DraftKings. And okay, so that'll pretty much do it for this week's video. I just want to say thank you very much for everyone for watching. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Beyond the Green Golf Podcast. If you guys can like this video, leave a comment on who you think is going to win this week, or any things you liked about the video, disliked, any of that is greatly appreciated. I'm here for all the feedback. And yeah, any additional questions, comments, you can also tweet at me. My Twitter handle is beyondthegreengolf. And yeah, that'll pretty much do it. So I just want to say good luck to everyone this week. As always, please bet responsibly, and hope you guys be on the green if you are playing golf, betting golf, or watching golf. So that's it for this week. See you guys next week for the Arnold Palmer Invitational. All right, see you guys.